Well, hey, everybody, this is Kim Stevens, your community leader for the Women on the Channel Leadership Network. Welcome to another WOW session. Joining me today is Michelle Boers, who is the National Account Director at Climb Channel Solutions. Michelle, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
What is a little known fact about you?
I really wish I could sing. I can't carry a tune to save my life. And I really I'd love to be one of those people that could belt out a song.
Obviously, as the Director of National Accounts, you have a big responsibility. So tell us just a bit about your journey and how you got to where you are.
I started off in distribution way back in 1995 at Tech Data. And I literally got that job because I used to play snooker with somebody in university, and he worked at Tech Data and said, "Oh, let me get you an interview." Interviewed, got hired. And I'm like, what is this wacky world? And I really, really like it. So through that, I worked for another distributor, Alternative Technology, that was purchased by Arrow. I left Arrow to come to, at that point, Lifeboat Distribution, and I've been here for 7.5 years.
What are some things that you do to differentiate yourself?
I just don't let some small things bother me. If I'm in a room full of men, I'm at home in that, and for the most part. And just being my authentic self helps me with that. I am who I am. And when I look at like partners and I've asked them, I said, "Can you tell me about myself?" And they say that I'm dedicated and I'm passionate about what I do. I let that carry the conversation. But I'm also open to learning from anybody that's in the room.
Let me ask you, that's so interesting. Have you always been that way?
No.
Okay.
So probably about 15 years ago, through my horses, and my horses have actually very influenced my professional life. I met a lady called Linda Pirelli, and she had really talked about never-ending self-improvement. And so that's when I started looking at learning and looking at myself how can I be better? But she's also on the same journey, along with a lot of the same people that I've met through her and through business. How can I do better? How can I learn better? And that makes a difference as you go through.
So it really is a mindset. As opposed to being critical, it's more of, okay, this is an opportunity for me to get better. It
is, but it takes a long time to get to that, because and not take things personally. And I still take things personally. I have my moments.
You're human.
Yeah, I'm human. But just being able to sit back and go, okay, let's just separate fact and emotions, and moving forward from there. Some are harder and some are easier to do.
What do you do to continue to grow and develop as a leader? Is it that sort of self-improvement, or what are some things that you do?
I love taking courses. I'm not so much about like just reading a book, although I do listen to audiobooks wherever I drive. But I like taking courses and learning. But as I've discovered more over the last few years, you get out of a course what you put into a course. So you have to be an active participant. And that takes being vulnerable. It takes a leap of faith to do it. And just having a willingness to learn. And I joke with a friend, being willing to put yourself on the altar of learning and opening yourself up.
I've not heard that expression before. I love that.
Yeah.
The altar of learning. I think it's also so important to be present, because we tend to want to multitask and get a bunch of things done at once, right?
And it's only in the last 6 months to a year that I really noticed that I've been far more present, but it's actively turning off the phone, shutting down the email when you have a call, making sure your dogs are inside so they can't want to go outside, or vice versa. But just controlling the environment so you can be present, or controlling as best as you can.
I always like to learn from folks is where they go to, whether it's a what or a whom they go to for inspiration and mentorship. So where do you go for that?
It depends. So I ride horses. And I take a lot of inspiration from the little kids at the barn that are learning to jump for the first time, that are just gone to their show for the first time, and just their joy in trying it. I see people every day that are inspiring, like somebody out running, right? And you can tell they're on their physical fitness journey. I'm like, good on ya. Like, it's just people that get out there and try. But I also look at people, I'm drawn to people, kind of like yourself, that's on the never-ending self-improvement journey, right? Because those, and you tend to kind of flock with those people, and it makes it more enjoyable, and you can share stories and share learning experiences.
Yeah. I used to have this impression that people had it all figured out and they were good to go. And then and that was intimidating. And I'm like, I don't have my act together. And then you get to talking to them, and it was a relief. Not that they were messed up, they were normal. In other words, they had things that they struggled with too. And that just made it okay for me to know that I gotta, it's a journey. I gotta figure this out as I go too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it makes it, you're not alone.
Yeah. What are some things that you do, Michelle, just to honor that work life? I don't want to call it balance, because that balance word I don't think it applies. Integrate, let's call it work-life integration. What are some things you do?
I call it flow, the work-life flow, because
flow,
how things go. I have somebody that holds me accountable.
Okay.
I really wanted to start showing this year. It was one of the goals I had set last year, and I needed some help with it. And I asked a friend, I'm like, you got to email me. You got to message me on Wednesdays and ask me how I'm doing. So and she does, she messages me to make sure that, am I on track? Am I taking time to myself? I took a course with Dr. Jenny Susser, and it talks about empty tank syndrome and how we're kind of all going on empty. And she has a checklist to make sure that, are you doing good things or bad things for you today? Right. And at the end of the day, I'm circling because a little OCD, but it helps me go, am I doing what I need to do to get to where I need to be? And it really helps me with work-life balance. Did I do breathing today? Did I do meditation today? Did I go for a walk? Did I talk to a friend? Simple things like that can make a big difference.
What is one thing that you know now, but dang, don't you wish you knew right when you started?
Words are very, very powerful, and we don't realize how we use them, especially when you're younger, right? So like just even the word just, I am just checking in. You don't need to put that word just in front of there. I am checking in with you. And it kind of minimizes your actions. And it's so ingrained in some ways that I do it. And I'm like, okay, delete, take out that word. Yeah. And saying sorry for things that really you don't need to say sorry. And that might be a little bit of a Canadian thing. We tend to say sorry a lot. But really using that word at an appropriate time and not just using it.
You know, it's interesting. Somebody had written a blog for the community about giving away your power. Yeah. And I'm sorry are the two words that is the quickest way to give away your power.
Absolutely.
And I become aware of it now. I realize how much I apologize, Yeah. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing these great tips and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine. I've really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So you guys, when you hear this, would you give Michelle a shout out? Give her a thumbs up, make a comment, let her know that you appreciate her sharing her journey with you. And we will see you on the next WOW session. You guys take care.